Hello all, let's perform a quick installation of Manjaro Linux. So this is Manjaro Pahvo 21.1.0. So you can grab the installer from manjaro.org. So if you click try Manjaro over here, it will bring you to the downloads page where you can pick your favorite desktop environment. So for my case, I have taken the Gnome edition. So if you click this one, it will give you options to download, like you can have a minimal desktop version, you can have a minimal LTS, or you can have the full-fledged version. So that's depending on your use case. You can download whichever version that suits your needs. And this is the first screen after you boot your Manjaro installer. So you can click the launch installer from here. So this is a Calamares installer. Here you pick your language and click next. You can pick your time zone. For me, because I'm connected to internet, it already picked up my time zone, and I can click next. Here I can select my keyboard layout. For me it's English US, and click next. So here you have options for partitioning your system. So you can select your drive over here, and you can choose erase and install with no swap, or swap with Hibernate, or without Hibernate. You can select your file system. If you need something like Btrfs, you can pick that over here. So I'm just going with a simple ext4 system. So if you need manual partitioning, you have an option for this. You can perform encryption of your drive if you check this, and click next to continue. Here you set your username. This is where you set your host name. You can set your password. So I'm just going to use same password for the root account, and I'm just going to use login automatically because this is a virtual machine. So if you need to have a separate password for, like, it's a good idea to keep separate password for separate accounts. So if you need that, you can set password for your root account over here and click next. So in this page, it will give you a confirmation of what you have done. So if you need to change something like your time zone or keyboard layout, this is the last step where you can go back and revert those changes before the installation. Then you can click install. So it will ask you again whether you want to install. So if you click install now, it will start the installation. So this is going to take some time. So I'll be back when the installation process have been completed. So the installation process have been completed. So you can click restart now, or you can play around with the ISO if you want. So I'm just going to click restart now and click done. So this is the welcome screen after the installation process have been completed. So here you have options for, like, you can take a look at the readme. You can switch the Gnome layouts. So here you will have multiple options to pick from, but it's not clearly visible for me. You can click home to go back, and you have applications. Like if you need something, you can pick from here. Like I have installed the minimal version of Manjaro, so this is what I have. I don't have pretty much something pre-installed in my system, so it's a very minimal install. And if you need to install something, you can search them from here. For example, if you need something like Audacious or something, you can pick that and click update system. So it will do that for you. So I'm just going to close that out. Let me increase the font size a little bit. So if I do a uname -r, you can see we are on 5.13.11.1 kernel version. And if I do a df-h, you can see the disk space used by the root partition is 5.8 gigabytes. And if I do a free -h without having anything in the background, just terminal and the shell running, it's using 676 megabytes. So ps-a for the number of processes, so you can see it's having csh, git status daemon, ps, xorg, gnome session. You have like Pamac installed by default for your graphical front end for managing your applications. So if you have any updates, they will be visible in this tab. So right now it's checking for available updates. So it's telling me I have update for Firefox. So if I hit apply, it will update, and I have to enter the super user password. So you can update this like any traditional Arch Linux systems. So you can use like if you open up your terminal, and you can use sudo pacman -syyu to update, synchronize and update your entire system. So if you're having like slower download speeds, you can use this package like this one called pacman mirrors. So if you do a sudo pacman mirrors, it's going to grab the latest mirrors for you. So sudo pacman -mirrors, and it will check for the fastest mirrors available, and it will set them for you. So in Manjaro you have like the GNOME version which I have installed. This is minimal. Even though it's minimal, I have GNOME tweaks and GNOME extensions available by default. So here we can pick themes. So we have quite a lot of themes by default. Then you can pick your icons from this one, and you have options to change your cursor, like you can install something like Bibata. I'm not sure whether you have no. Then we can install AUR using the Pamac application manager. So I just need to go to preferences over here, and it will ask for the passphrase. Then if I click the third party, I can enable AUR support over here. And if I search something like Bibata cursor theme, it's going to show up over here. So if I need to install Bibata cursor theme, I can install it from here and hit apply. So this is installing the theme from AUR. This is not from the standard repository. So you can see over here it's from AUR. So it's a useful tool. Then if I open up settings, if I can figure out where it is, yeah, you have Manjaro settings manager where you have options to change your kernel. So if you click that, it will give you which kernel is running. So this is currently running the mainline kernel. So if I need to install something like LTS kernel, you have options for that. You can choose real-time kernel. You can use an older kernel if you want. So you have options for all those things over here. I'm not sure whether you have Zen kernel, but I'm not seeing anything over here. Then I closed everything entirely. So you have options for your locale settings, and you can see your hardware configuration with this. So if you need to install, like if you don't have support for your proprietary drivers, you can install them from here. So currently I'm running open source drivers for my virtual machine. Then you can set your locale language preferences. You can customize your user account, time and date. So if you're having a wrong date and time, you can configure that over here. Then keyboard settings, so that is Manjaro settings manager. So apart from this, you have options for the default GNOME settings. So this is GNOME settings. So if I go to the bottom, you can see this is Manjaro Linux, and currently I'm using X11 instead of Wayland. So the Gnome version is 40.3. So if I go and check for change background, we have some Manjaro specific wallpapers and Gnome wallpapers. So if we need to change something, just click that and it's done. So that's pretty much it about Manjaro Linux. So I hope this one was helpful. I hope you all have a wonderful day.